that what they're going to do with all these vacant office buildings that no one's coming back to? I think
Yeah, I mean,
That's interesting though too, right? Because we just got new office space and Bellevue, and it was like, don't quote me on this, but it was like a 3% vacancy rate or something. I mean, it was super low.
yeah, that's office space is really tricky to figure out, right?
Yeah.
It's, in the beginning of the pandemic, in the last year or so, you saw a lot, hundreds of millions of dollars poured in to office space by Facebook, well, now Meta, Google, Microsoft. I mean,
Right.
Facebook bought REI's headquarters in Spring District. I think that was like $380 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
And
heard
this
that
is,
they're leaving the Spring District. I don't know if they're staying.
I doubt that. I think, office space, this is going to take a while to shake out.
Yeah.
Because there's that work from home hole. But we're starting to see tech companies mandate employees come back. Apple just announced that a few days ago. And they're like, hey, you're going to have to come back to the mothership, 2 or 3 days a week. And, that's obviously caused a lot of pushback by the employees. And I don't want to speculate too much, but I guess I'll go ahead and do such. It could be a way for attrition, not to do layoffs, just be like, okay, go, quit,
Oh, that's
so
Yep.
we might see that, Microsoft's, having people come back and, but
Our
then
industry
again,
has done it. We did not here locally, but I have colleagues at other companies that, that's how they did it. Are you going to come to the office? And if not, you're on the list to go.
yeah. So, I mean, if that starts to happen,
Yeah.
maybe the office space, people are coming back to the office, but it's really hard, I think, for the CEOs to justify it when people have been proven to be more productive. For sure. I know I've worked more hours, it seems, in a home setting than an office setting.
Yeah.
And it's just quality of life, that flexibility, especially if you have children, and it's people, I don't think we can't go back. Things have definitely changed, but it's going to be really interesting to see this back and forth between employer and employee, and then what happens with the office space, because look at Amazon. They just paused those 4 or 5 towers, right, in Bellevue. They're going to finish one of them. They're not saying they're not going to complete it at all, but they have definitely hit the pause button. So they're doing some recalculation as well. It's going to be really hard to justify bringing everybody back 5 days a week. So we'll see what happens. But as far as conversions of commercial or office space into residential, it's always talked about, but it's really difficult. It's expensive. It's hard to get all those units in because you'll end up with a lot of units that don't have windows, in the interior of the office plan,
right.
Plumbing, the infrastructure. Yeah, you have bathrooms or whatever, but they're, big bathrooms. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And sometimes, most times, you're better off just raising the building and just starting from scratch to do that. But that'll be interesting with the office space. The thing, though, that's kind of the savior as far as Seattle goes, in downtown Seattle specifically, is biotech. That's huge. Biotech, that's an industry you can't work from home in your bunny slippers. They have sophisticated equipment, sophisticated HVAC systems. You got to be there on site, and those are high-paying jobs, and they'll find those employees here, and they'll have to come in. But there's been a lot of investment made, activity for the biotech space. So that's a plus. That's in the plus column for office space.
That's interesting. We don't talk about biotech very often, but it is a huge industry in Seattle.
It's really difficult to find the talent for biotech. And here we're lucky. Here in Puget Sound, we have a top-notch medical facility at UW research facility, and then of course we have a lot of tech talent, right? A lot of people in STEM. So Seattle is extremely attractive to these companies, and they're very high-paying jobs. So that's a plus.